John Osborne here. Let's do the FX education outlook for August 4th, 2017. We got the non-farm payrolls data earlier on Friday, and since then we've seen some of the markets show strength in the US dollar and some weakness in some of the European markets. Let's start off by looking at the dollar Swissy, and you can see here anything with the US dollar in the beginning part of the pair, and the numerator, we saw a nice move up. Okay, regardless of which portfolio we are in. This is one of our bullish portfolios, so we saw a rise through this trend line that we saw here. So we saw some pretty good movement higher. We can see that we actually broke through the previous pivot and then came back down, and we're right now retesting that in this area here. So we did get a little bit, maybe of a shooting star here, a little bit along of a wick at the bottom, but let's keep an eye on that one to see if it's a sign that it might pull back a little bit. But we are moving back up along the underside of this previous daily trend line. And another thing we did too is we're back up against the bottom of that pennant pattern that we had in the weekly. Here in the euro pound, you can see that we got the big move up here, and then a move sideways, retested the 0.89941, and then went back up and closed a little bit higher. For the pound US dollar, you can see we had quite a big drop. This is with the US dollar in the denominator, and then we rode along this trend line that we have here, confirming the importance of that trend line that we had, and then a further drop down towards this previous swing here. For the euro US dollar, also another drop with the US dollar in the denominator. You can see the bearish here again. We went down to a previous trend line that we had here, pretty much broke it, and then closed a little bit above it. Okay, for the Aussie dollar, US dollar, another drop right through that trend line. Okay, we're almost doing a little bit of a consolidation pattern here still after breaking through the resistance or the retarget that we had there. We're still bouncing up off of our first in the bearish portfolio here. We're bouncing off that support that we had at target and moving up towards the midpoint of the Bollinger Band there. And you can see we are kind of we are trending higher on the 240. So it's interesting to see the big drop that we had on the weekly and then a bounce on that previous pivot. For the pound loonie, you can see that we're making a move lower here. Quite a big move down here, just about to that trend line that we had there, and then we just went consolidation sideways for the rest of the day. For the dollar yen, you can see we made the move up, and we went up and touched the top of the Bollinger Band here on this, what we call that, a spinning top, not quite a doji, it's a little bit fat, and we closed with a little bit of a downward movement at the end of the day here. We're just riding along this trend line that we have here on the daily. In our consolidating portfolio, you can see we're still sitting within the consolidation pattern above the 144.013 on the pound yen daily, and the Aussie yen, you can see we did break through there, and then we had made some movement back up again, but we're expecting to see a little bit of a stronger move down through here. Look at the long wicks at the bottom, indicating that any move lower was pushed back by the bulls. So we can see what happens here. We're still really focused on the consolidation, that we can break through here with some strength. We've weakened it a little bit, but let's look for some better strength if we're going to take this in any direction. And you can see we're still consolidating on the Kiwi yen, and you can see we went up and retested the underside of this older trend line that we have here that's shown here in yellow. So let's let some time happen and digest the news from the non-farm payroll, which was strong dollar news, and let the weekend play out and see what happens when we next meet again on Monday. And until then, hope you have a great rest of your day.